On the day of the assassination attempt, prosecutors say Ryan Routh was able to leave West Palm Beach and was later arrested in Martin County. You're actually looking at body camera video showing the moment Martin County Sheriff's deputies took
Routh did nothing wrong.
So Routh is representing himself, and two of his questions involved the war in Gaza and the U.S. possibly acquiring Greenland. But it was the one about the turtle that seemed the most odd. He wanted to ask potential jurors if they saw a turtle in the road, would they stop to help? Judge Cannon told him that was irrelevant, and she summed up, "Your proposed questions, sir, are very off base and have no relevance to jury selection." Now, it appears from his previous filings, his exhibit list, and some of his motions that he's going to try to portray himself as this kind, caring, gentle person who's done a lot of good in the various communities in which he's lived. But some of those exhibits that he wants to show jurors might also be denied by the judge because obviously she had no patience with what she called his irrelevant questions this morning.
One man even telling the judge, "I don't want to be here."
Here's a trial we're going to have to pay a lot of attention to. You remember the second guy that tried to assassinate the president? He's pulling a Lori Val Daybell and defending himself in court. So this should be a lot of fun. Jury selection has begun.
Tiffany, they sure did. It is a slow-moving process, as you can imagine. There are 180 potential jurors, and today the judge
Ryan Routh
questioned the first group of 60 potential jurors, many of them expressing hardships and reasons for why they cannot commit to a 3.5-week trial. One man even telling the judge, "I don't want to be here." This group of 60 potential jurors, many of them expressing hardships and reasons for why they cannot commit to a 3.5-week-long trial. One man even telling the judge, "I don't want to be here." Our Terry Parker was inside that courtroom with me today. She listened to the jurors. She joins us live now. And Terry, Ryan Routh was actually struck down by Judge Cannon in some of the questions he was hoping to ask those prospective jurors.
Right, Felicia. Ryan Routh.
She looked like she would be a country singer from the early 90s.
Had 12 proposed questions to show the jury, but Judge Eileen Cannon said, you know what, these aren't relevant. Some are too political, and she looks like she's going to be mostly relying on the government's questions to whittle down this big jury pool. So Routh is representing himself, and two of his questions involved the war in Gaza and the U.S. possibly acquiring Greenland. But it was the one about the turtle that seemed the most odd. He wanted to ask potential jurors if they saw a turtle in the road, would they stop to help? Judge Cannon told him that was irrelevant, and she summed up, "Your proposed questions, sir, are very off base and have no relevance to jury selection." Routh seemed surprised and said, "I thought we wanted to get into the mindset of the jurors." When the first set of potential jurors came in, he introduced himself and said he was sorry they had to be here, but he thanked them. He was wearing a gray jacket with red and white striped tie and khakis. His feet appeared to be shackled, and he was sitting alone at a desk up against the wall. Now, it appears from his previous filings, his exhibit list, and some of his motions that he's going to try to portray himself as this kind, caring, gentle person who's done a lot of good in the various communities in which he's lived. But some of those exhibits that he wants to show jurors might also be denied by the judge because obviously she had no patience with what she called his irrelevant questions this morning. She may say the same thing, say about his Boy Scout commendation and that type of thing that he's using to build up this defense. But it continues tomorrow at 8:30. They're going to go through some more jurors, and Felicia, we will be there and bringing you all the details.
All right, Terry.
Bye, Felicia.
Live for us this evening. Thank you. Let's take a look back now at how we got to this point where we are today. It was just under a year ago. It would mark a year next week when this chain of events unfolded. It was Sunday, September 15th.
Oh, I remember.
Phone records show Ryan Routh arrived in the vicinity of Trump International Golf Club in West Palm Beach around 2 in the morning. Roughly 12 hours later, at about 1:30 in the afternoon, Secret Service agents say they spotted a rifle coming from the bushes. The Secret Service opened fire. These items were later found in that area. Now, there is no evidence Routh ever fired his weapon. A witness claims to have seen Routh get into a vehicle and take off. That witness was able to give authorities a vehicle description. Routh was then spotted driving northbound on I-95 in Martin County. He was pulled over and arrested. The Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office then flew that witness to the scene to positively ID Ryan Routh. And as you can imagine, a high-profile case like this one means extra security measures in place around and inside the federal courthouse. Our Angela Rozier spent the day with, she has more on our team coverage now, with more on the efforts to make sure everyone here is safe.
Well, security remains heightened here at the federal courthouse in Fort Pierce. Officials are aware of the attention that the Ryan Routh trial, the man accused of attempting to assassinate President Donald Trump, will attract in this area.
Local and federal law enforcement officials, including agents with the U.S. Marshal Service, are busy checking the grounds around the federal courthouse. They're aware of the attention Ryan Routh's trial may attract to the area. As of right now, police say no reports of any issues or protests.
However, we're always monitoring our systems. We're intel driven, so any intelligence that comes in, we have the ability to adjust whether to ramp up or bring it down.
He says there are no plans to close any streets around the courthouse, but they will continue to monitor the situation. The police department is responsible for all calls for service, regardless of what's going on around the courthouse. Their role is to enhance patrols in the area throughout the duration of the trial.
Working collectively with our county partners as well as our federal partners, everybody has a role to play in this, and our role is public safety in that particular area.
No reported issues on day one of jury selection, but police say if anyone sees or hears anything suspicious, immediately dial 911. In Fort Pierce, Angela Rozier, WPBF 25 News.
Don't narc.
Angela, thank you. On the day of the assassination attempt, prosecutors say Ryan Routh was able to leave West Palm Beach and was later arrested in Martin County. You're actually looking at body camera video showing the moment Martin County Sheriff's deputies took
Routh did nothing wrong.
In the middle of I-95.
No, I'm not as sympathetic to him as I am
with the Martin County Sheriff, as well as a major
Luigi,
who was on scene that day. And tonight, for the first time, they are revealing new details about what happened.
Both the sheriff and the major tell us they're extremely proud of how their team handled Routh's arrest, and the sheriff actually revealed 2 new pieces of information from that day. September 15th, 2024, known to everyone at the Martin County Sheriff's Office as arguably the biggest apprehension in the department's history.
Driver, take 2 steps to your right!
For the first time, Sheriff John Boonseek, who was undersheriff at the time, reveals what deputies thought they were responding to.
The initial information that was gathered at that time was that shots had been fired in both directions, that Mr. Routh had fired rounds potentially towards the President of the United States, and that the Secret Service and maybe Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office had subsequently returned fire.
Later learning the only rounds fired were from one Secret Service agent.
You're slowly realizing that this is one of the most intense calls you're going to be going to, like the most high pressure situation that we're probably going to face in our careers is unfolding right now.
Major Joshua Closter remembers rushing down Martin Highway before reaching I-95.
We set up a felony stop behind cover. We're actually back there giving commands for him to show us his hands, which he did. He's putting his hands out the window.
Their K-9 unit arrived, and that's when we see this moment play out.
It was our opportunity to give back. President Trump has stood by law enforcement through thick and thin for all these years. He's been the zero tolerance on crime president. And so it was our opportunity at the Martin County Sheriff's Office to give back to him, specifically him, personally to him, for all the things he's done for us.
And even more new information, the sheriff tells us the president's son, Eric Trump, was actually driving by and watched the takedown, later telling officials how surreal that moment was for him. In Martin County, Rachel Perry, WPBF 25 News.
Well, that's fun.
Rachel, thank you. And a reminder, this was the second assassination attempt on then presidential candidate Donald Trump. During a campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, Trump was shot in the ear after a gunman perched on the roof of a nearby building and opened fire. Now, that suspect was shot and killed One person in the crowd, you may recall, was killed. That was a firefighter. That incident and the incident here in West Palm Beach created immense scrutiny for the Secret Service. It also resulted in several changes, including dozens of security reforms. Now, this is a federal trial happening, so we are not allowed to bring cameras.
Yeah, that's why we don't have cameras.
Telephones or any type of electronic or recording devices. So you won't see any video coming out of that trial, but there is a sketch artist in the courtroom, so you will be seeing renderings of what happened in court. Reporters will be allowed to take in a pad of paper and something to write with, of course. As I said, you'll also see those sketches from the sketch artist. WPBF 25 News will continue to bring you live coverage throughout Ryan Routh's trial. For now, I'm Felicia Rodriguez.
Oh, you fuckers know this is going to be one I'm going to be on top of.
Tiffany in the studio.
But man, I wish there was cameras. I wish we had cameras in federal court. That would be one of the, if I was in Congress, that'd be one of the first bills I'd promote.
Like one it and click one back, one more click, before we hit the set an alert when that shit goes live. Social fucking support and hit subscribe. Light one up and take a hit. He does no harm, but it takes no shit. He's the last one standing when the ship is sinking. Let's take another rip for JustinFREAKIN.
Light one up, tip one back. I'm JustinFREAKIN.
Not high enough for this shit.